doing the work.
And risking your reputation. If I failed, everyone is gonna know about it.
I was hustling, like I was grinding my face off, knocking 150 doors a day to get a deal just so that I could feed myself. There was an aspect of that early on in the business.
The hustle culture, is it biblical or not? That's one question I want to talk about.
I had a mentor of mine, and he told me something that I'll never forget. Heart posture over hustle. And I was like, wow.
The biggest difference in how I've been able to sell at a high level is simple. Love God, love people. The Bible says the greatest commandment is loving God, loving people. That is our heart and our motto.
As a believer, you want people to taste Jesus and see Jesus in you. But when it's time to let go on someone, or time to be tough with someone, there is a good possibility they're gonna take it personal.
Behind the scenes, after talking with some people like, what are we doing here? Is there a process or system? And I'm like, bro, you went from doing no deal. I taught you how to wholesale and even helped you close the deal.
One person challenged the authority and was like, oh, I love working here, and went behind and found a better rate somewhere else. And it just catapulted the whole thing.
Welcome to HQ After Hours. We have back here Jayden and Josh. Dear friends, and they both business owners, entrepreneur. We had them on the podcast before, but we are here back on it again. Thanks for coming, guys. I'm really excited for this. I've been waiting for this for 2-3 weeks at least.
Absolutely, we're excited, man.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I appreciate you. I want to start with this. I want to start with Josh. Josh just started the challenge on Monday this week. Yes. Usually he managed his team on selling roofs, but this time he's in the lead. He's doing a 100-day challenge. His goal is to sell 1 roof a day and to hit 100 roof sale in 100 day. Plus, he wants to do, is it 2.2 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll speak.
Yeah, tell us about it.
100 roofs in 100 days. It started at Monday. It's day 1. I made this post. I just was like, you know what, we're gonna do it. But I had been feeling the Lord actually. Let's just bring it back to the root of all of it, right? Let's talk about the realness of it. I have this schedule. I spent some time with the Lord, and I have this schedule that I got from Him, and I was like, man, this is if I was like this, dude, I would be super productive, you know? I just need to be super diligent to this thing that He gave me, which is a 5 to 8 p.m. type of thing with a little bit of a break in the middle of my day. And it's man, if I was just super productive, if I did this consistently, I would be, man, I'd probably sell a roof a day. And it started kind of creating this, just this conversation with the Lord, can we do this? Is this something that is possible? And then, of course, my business needs some sales. So we need some leadership in the sales department. I've always been selling and building and growing and doing those types of things. But for the first 2 years of my business, I was doing the same thing I'm doing now. And I'll get to that in a second. But I was doing the same exact thing. I was hustling. I was grinding my face off, knocking 150 doors a day to get a deal just so that I could feed myself, there was an aspect of that early on in the business. But after 2.5 years of that, I was kind of set up. It had a little brand presence. I started getting leads, started being about 4 lead aggregators and different things like that. So I started getting more business that way. And then I was able to start delegating and hiring salespeople and basically being able to play owner a little bit. And I've just gone through a season this year. It was just just got to be a catalyst, So this is my catalyst moment to take the business to a completely different level. And so I was this schedule, this catalyst moment, what's something that I've never done before? I've never sold 100 roofs in 100 days. So I was you know what? Boom, make this video. 100 roofs in 100 days. I'm gonna do it. And it's been super challenging. I'm at 0 roofs so far. Day 4 or day 5 right now, and I'm okay, Lord, I'm doing the work. I know the law of averages. I know the different things that are there. I'm doing the work. But I think that it's not about the 100 roofs. It's just about getting up as a leader and standing up and being you know what,
and
work
and risking your reputation and and he's he's not telling his wife, this is challenges between me and you, don't tell anyone about it, and if I fail, no one is gonna know about it. No,
gonna know
everyone is gonna know about it, because I've been watching him every day. I was telling him, seriously looking forward like for your video to see how you're doing on it. It's first of all, is very like entertaining, you know. So I like that aspect because I know you didn't meant it, but it is happening. You know, you're in social media, you have to be like entertaining enough that people would watch it. Second thing is very inspirational, you know. And most importantly is like showing that you're living what God is giving you and you're stewarding your time. One thing, I was with one of my production manager, and I was like, listen, I want you to write down, because he always say like, I work hard. I was like, I want you to write down every 30 minutes what you did in that 30 minutes for a whole week. And if you do that, you realize how much time you waste in your day. It's just crazy. If you do it for just 1 week and then you look at the calendar, it's like waste. And I'm guilty of it myself, and always try to change. And like even right now, like talking about sales, I'm switching 100%, like not 100%, more like, you know, I want in the morning production, and then the rest of the day is going to be me being out there and be aggressive and trying to gain more clients. The hustle culture, is it biblical or not? That's one question I want to talk about. Jayden.
Yeah, so is the hustle culture biblical? I would say this: hard work is biblical, right? Hard work is biblical, right?
That was a bar.
that was a bar. That was a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is biblical, bro. Come on.
Yeah, so hard work is biblical,
Yeah.
right? And if we go and look at Jesus, right, we look at our Father who created this whole world, right? Something like when I go and like try to have my mind be expanded, right? If I'm thinking too small, just step outside.
Yeah. It's good.
Like that, simply step outside, look at the sky and look all around, and look and realize that our Heavenly Father has created this world, has created the sky, the stars, the motion, the sun. So me just thinking about hitting, you know, consistently a couple 100,000 a month or things like that, I've got to realize that God can do more, right? God can do more than that, right? And it's not even about the numbers, right? Like put the numbers aside in business revenue. It's about, is my mind expanded enough, right? Is my mind expanded enough? So coming back to, is hard work biblical? Absolutely. Like let's just look at the 7 days of the week, right? God worked 6 days in the week and rested on the seventh, right? And so when we look at that picture, does that mean that we need to work 6 days a week and we just like go to church on Sunday and that's fine? No. To be honest, I work 5 days a week, right? And it's all about balance. But if we go back to hustle culture, I think there's two different discrepancies here. Hustle culture, business is an idol in their life, right? They're consumed by business. It's everything that's on their mind, their thoughts, their emotions. If a deal does not close, they're sad, right? Their whole, like, they're sad, they're feeling this way, right? And at the end of the day, your heart has to be in the right place. And the hustle culture says you can sleep when you die. You can sleep when you're free. Yeah. You can sleep when you have $5 million in your bank account, and you just keep going back to this. Oh, if I just had $1 million in the bank account right now, how would I feel? Right. I'd feel so much better. I could grow this and do that. That's not how we should be thinking, right? And so when we're looking at it, is hustle culture biblical? I would say hard work is biblical. Diligence is biblical, right? The Bible says that whoever works his land will have plenty of bread. Bro, you're doing roofing sales, right? And have a roofing company. I don't know if you saw the podcast, but I used to do roofing sales.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, bro. I would knock 100 doors a day, right? Got bit by a Rottweiler, dog, all these things, right?
Man, I have a Rottweiler too.
Yeah. So I'm not coming over your house. I don't want to get bit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding, bro.
She would lick you to death.
Yeah. But the reality is, bro, that scripture, when I did roofing sales, the Lord gave that to me. Right? It's Proverbs 12. Whoever works his land will have plenty of bread. Yeah. Right? That doesn't mean if it's a, like you said, a lead aggregator model or door knocking or what Husam's doing with HVAC and inbound leads, whatever might be coming in. If we work our land and we steward our time, we'll have plenty of bread. So that'd be my answer. I
like this answer.
Yeah,
I like this answer because, in a culture we live in, you see like a million motivational speaker, like work hard, and then you have the other side of it is life is too short, just enjoy it, have a moment in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Get a job, bro.
get a job. And actually that was one of my biggest frustration in church, especially for younger people when we were in the Bible study, is these people who didn't work. Like who just like, no, I'm in love in Jesus. I just want to be in his presence all day long. But at work. And yeah, it's hard to deal with the situation like this. Josh, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with Jaden. I think that hard work is biblical. I think that having a heart posture unto the Lord with what you do will free up any of those motivations or motives that will push any narrative that money is more important than God, because it's money is not more important than God. God doesn't need our money. We don't need to supply the kingdom. We don't need to I'm building this business for the kingdom. That's great. But God doesn't need your money, right? God can infinitely do way more than what we can even imagine. And so I think that it really is about building, like working on your land and doing the things that you need to do, being diligent. And I've experienced that in my own life. I've experienced that with this hustle culture, hustle till I, sleep when you die. I came from that kind of side of business. And before I started this company, I had a mentor of mine. He works with Core Love, Mike Riser, and he told me something that I'll never forget. It's like heart posture over hustle. And I was like, wow, it doesn't mean that you don't go out and hustle, right? What he meant by that was that you putting who are you doing it for? Like if you're doing it for God and you're actually doing it for the Lord, like you're doing it unto him, working hard unto him, being super diligent, then it's going to be blessed. But if you have like a striving mentality, or like a great example in the Bible is Martha and Mary, right? Mary was just like hard posture of the Lord, just like, I'm going to pour my oil on your feet and like wash your feet and prepare you for the crucifixion. And Martha was like, oh my God, Jesus, come to my house, and she's just like running around trying to figure it. And I think there's good seasons for both of those things. But I do believe that like when you're running a business and you're trying to build a business and you're going after money, you can't, the intention is not to go after money. The intention is to go after the heart of God. And I think all of us can experience like our business is a ministry. Like there's a ministry component. I think there's oil and there's fresh oil on building a business unto the Lord in that way that needs to be freshened in this day and age right now. And money's going to come. Like money's going to be supplied. I've experienced this where I've been more intentional about the relationships that are in my business than the actual revenue dollars that are there. And that has supplied the money, or God just brings the revenue and like it comes in right on time all the time. And so I've had to forgive myself, first of all, and I've also had to rid myself of this motive of chasing down money. Now, I think that brings up it brings up a kind of a polarity aspect of it. Right? There's like there's a bit of that. I think that if we're going after the heart of God and God is involved in our businesses, then making money is he wants us to be successful. God doesn't want, your realty business to fail. He wants it to succeed, and he has unlimited resources to actually help your business succeed. Same with yours and mine.
Okay, and here's the thing.
That's good, bro.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Like since we get into that question, there is a lot of debate in churches, a lot of debate in the Christian world is the issue with the prosperity gospel. It's
Prosperity gospel.
It's a tough topic because a lot of the principles they believe in is like it's biblical. But what do you guys believe in? Like, does God want Christians to be wealthy?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Touch on that prosperity gospel, right? A lot of people are like, Hussam, you're just going after the prosperity gospel in your business, bro. Like you just need to relax. Like you're being a little greedy. You did this much. Like, no, that's called a broke mindset. Okay. Poverty mindset. If you're thinking that way, then you're thinking very small-minded, okay? We need to open up this prosperity gospel thing and actually talk about it. Because here's the reality, it's a big thing. And a lot of people in the church, right? And we've seen this with churches like, hey, sow into me. Like, if you want to see the breakthrough, sow into God right now, right? Yeah. And here's the reality, it's sowed into their own salary. Yeah. It's sowed into their own lifestyle. It's sowed into them doing, bro, I'm just going to hit on it. Can I do that?
I like that because,
Yeah. One doing, as a ministry, 1 hour teaching video a day and asking people to sow into you, and then going and traveling places and things like that to sow into your lifestyle. That to me is not right. Okay. And here's why. You have so much more that you can be doing, that you can be utilizing with that money, and with multiplying that money into the fullness of the calling and gifts on your life. And if we just say, hey, sow into God, but these resources are not going to helping orphans, widows, church, broke people in your church, right? All these things, right? Then you're only doing it unto yourself. And that's a thing that has to be understood. To me, that is the negative side of a prosperity gospel, right? Okay. Is if it's self-serving. Now, what's the positive side of a prosperity gospel? At the end of the day, Jesus died on the cross, and the gospel is prosperity. So yeah, do I believe in a prosperity gospel? Yes, I do. Hallelujah. My gospel that I believe is prosperity, because Jesus died on the cross and destroyed poverty emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, and took on debt in every area of your life, business debt, everything, right? So at the end of the day, we have to understand that prosperity is upon us. Our king was not just a poor king. He was a king that was crowned.
Yeah.
Right? He's a king that came from a Jewish family. He's a king that came from our Father in heaven, who have gold streets in heaven. If our God has gold streets in heaven,
he's
and
not
a
middle
place
class
prepared for you and mansions, do you think that he cares about your well-being here and touching and affecting people's lives? Because, bro, we can touch somebody right now, like walking out here, and the Holy Spirit says, give that man $1,000. You don't even know him. You don't know what he's going through. You give him $1,000, and he just starts crying. And then the gospel gets open. He may not believe no God, and you share the love of Jesus. And bro, right there, I've seen that time and time again. And so exposing what's the prosperity gospel. The negative side of the prosperity gospel is serving unto yourself, just me, give me to build my own lifestyle. The prosperity gospel, and the real reality is expansion
and that's,
and dominion.
Yeah, that
share something real quick about that. And that's one of the biggest things with that, is that I guess dilemma with that is that most people believe, and that's the case, that most people, that a lot of pastors and a lot of people that we see on TV is they're self-serving to themselves.
Yeah.
So just like a quick note, how do you like explain that to people, and how do you make people believe in the Lord when there's people that are taking advantage?
So talking about this,
this is a good subject.
It is, because do you know, I know we could talk all day about it, but do you know, we start watching The Chosen, and my wife, she started crying. She's like, Jesus was real person, like, like she's crying. She's like, I love this show. And we were talking, and we were like, if Jesus become like someone, who do you think he's like? And I told her, he will look a lot like our pastor in the dwelling place. Our church finances, I don't really know the details, but from the outside, you see, like, he can be like, if he wants to make money, he can use the church to make a lot of money. But you can see, like, his humble life, his lifestyle, everything about him is not about me. And I think, like, seeing pastors like this, and the Lord is raising pastors like this, is not like raising money for their own personal vacations and all these things, is very important to see pastors like that. So answering your question, I would say, like, one thing is searching for these leaders that they're walking in faithfulness, and then make them become the hero. talk about them, say, like, give them the platforms, I think is much more important than, like bringing the real, like, corrupted pastors and give them that platform. What do you think about this, Josh? Like,
yeah, I think it's 100% a great topic to talk about. I think my biggest thing on it really is John chapter 6. I think the prosperity of God's people comes from a place of being a funnel for him, giving. It comes through giving. And so, like you're saying about, Pastor Randy at Dwelling Place, like, was I not supposed to drop that?
oh, that's okay.
Okay, so Pastor Randy at Dwelling Place, phenomenal pastor. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned from him in terms of my business, and as well as like going after wealth and leaving an inheritance for my children's children, you know what I mean, is getting out of the way, right? We can grab onto and do way less than what God wants.
Mm-hmm.
We have to realize that we are not the pilot, we're the co-pilot.
Yeah.
And we have to open up our arms and let the funnel happen and just let God use us as a vessel. And as we do that, then the prosperity happens. And I think that's a pure place of prosperity. I think what you're talking about mentioning, I think is a really good thing to talk about, is if you're not being used as a vessel in the fullness of being used, like I'm talking about suffering unto omonea, suffering in Romans chapter 7 and 8, and like this type of suffering that Paul is talking about in Romans and all of his epistles. And like there's an aspect of suffering as a business owner. It's still prospering you, and you're walking through doors that are opening. Like if you have nothing in the bank account, even as a business owner walking with the Lord, all of a sudden you get the money to walk through the door. Mm-hmm. Like I think there's a lot of ministries that are out here that experience that, and it's that complete dependence and reliance on Jesus on the cross and completely putting it on him. And like, bless the bread, Lord, like bless the day of our bread, like bless this bread so that we may tear it and give it away. And I think it's tearing the loaf life that is, you have to give love away. You got to give it away. Because if you keep it for yourself, like you're talking about, like I think I agree with you on that. Like, you can't keep it for yourself, because if you keep it for yourself, then what's the point, right? God wants us to give it away. So if we're giving it away, then and he raises us to a different level, and we're still giving it away here. If we're giving it away here and we're giving it away here, there's nothing different about that. Only thing different is God's blessing on our life. And then I think we can receive blessings from the Lord. I know we can receive blessings from the Lord. So John chapter 6, man, tear the loaf, man, give it away. Love people. And if we love people as business owners, it looks like an internal love to our people that work for us, leading and stewarding our people and stewarding our finances well. Tithing, giving first fruits and in our business. But then outwardly, it's like community driven. Like it's going into seeing somebody being led by the Holy Spirit, going, okay, hey, I see that how can I bless you? You know what I mean? Or just the Lord giving us wisdom and blessing it. And I think it takes a serious amount of discernment to understand that. And then the last thing I'll say is community. I think there's a lot of bad community that is out there. I think there's a lot of, especially in this conversation, I think there's a decent amount of people that think polar opposite of what we're talking about, and that it's for their own being. And I think that it's not, if the more it is about the person, the individual, it becomes man's gospel, not Jesus's gospel. And I want it to be, and everything that I do, I want it to be Jesus's gospel. I want to get out of the way. And I want to have like a posture like this, like, God, you do it. I can't do this. Like I need you to do it, and I'll continue to just be a vessel and give. And that's about all I have really on that.
I want to touch back on something real quick. I think that was super good, bro. You hit on a lot of like kind of areas that build prosperity together. And I like what you really said a little bit ago about relationships, right? When you're first building your business, you're kind of doing it by yourself. You got the vision from God. You've got a work ethic, you've got perseverance, you've got some money in the bank account to build whatever you got, right? There'd be a line of credit or money in your bank account to build, but you're building unto, coming back, heart posture, number one for Jesus, right? Putting him first. He's not just something you say, hey, I'm a Christian, I love Jesus, but your actual business has to represent it every single day. Like with your clients, with your customers, transactions, praying for people. Like for an example, we had a deal under contract that we got, and I tried out a new marketing source. It's like a pay-per-lead, kind of lead aggregator model, right? Pay-per-lead, about $125 a lead. Bro, that's a new pair of Jordans, right? But for real, it's $125 a lead. So we spent like about $4,000 on this new kind of marketing channel, and we were getting ROI on it, right? We got 4 contracts out of that, and from a numbers perspective, that's good. But going deeper into that contract yesterday was, this is the first investment property that this lady had bought at the auction foreclosure as an investor. Okay. She bought it for $65,000. It was worth $200,000. It's in spring, right? I mean, definitely could probably need a roofer. The roof's beat on it and all of that. But
that would be his first sale of the challenge.
He's like, bro, I got you, right? We got a partner.
This is part of the 100. Thank you, Jesus.
For real, yeah, God's blessing right now, right? But we had this situation, right, where this lady bought this course for $8,000, and not saying that you can't learn things from courses, but lives in California, came to Houston a month ago, bought this property, HOA lien, foreclosure, right? The seller only had to pay $1,000 for his property. Nowhere to be found. Won't answer the phone, nothing. So what happens is you can acquire deals like that, right, through an HOA foreclosure. And so she did. She bought it for $65,000, sold it to us for $85,000. We sold it to our investor to flip it for $100,000, right? So that obviously there's spread there, right? It's a $15,000 profit, right? From one of my acquisition reps, and Travis here sold it to the investor, right? That's a whole nother story. He's like, bro, I got an offer, $100,000. I'm like, bro, I'm signing with the other person right now at 97. He's like, no, bro, he'll do it right now. $100,000. I said, what? Get him on the phone, bro. Get him on the phone. But all that to say, like, all these exciting emotions and seeing people win relationally. The biggest thing that excites me, and I love seeing my business prosper, is when other people win. Yeah. Okay? When we first start, it's exciting doing the $20,000 deal or the profit that hits or the roof, and boom, it hits your account, and you're like, bro. The time that the first check hits your account, you're like, I'm going to scale this business to the moon, And then you put relationships in place, and then you as a leader, where you really start
and that's part of prosperity, is the people around you that's getting left. Amazing. I'm really enjoying this. Sales. Yes. Both of you are aggressive in sales.
I want to hear it. I want to hear his aggressive sales nature.
A lot of tactic are scare tactic, or especially like, probably the roofing, car sales. Yep. A lot of salespeople are not honest. It's very easy to lie, manipulate, sell something you don't believe. As a Christian man, what do you believe in sales? Because some people say, like, you're too aggressive. Like, as a Christian man, you shouldn't be aggressive like this, or pushy, or what do you guys think about that?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me say it.
Go ahead.
I'll say this. We talk about hustle culture, right? Hustle and heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was hustling, Dan, I was giving people kitchen sinks. I was like throwing everything at them. Like, literally, you could not say no to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Upsell,
like,
right?
I would get to the point where, it would actually get to a point where the person may get upset if they're not buying, right? Like, if they're either buying or they're getting a little bit upset at me, right?
So you were a car salesman.
Basically a little bit, So there was a piece of that, and I had to learn how to, like, finesse that a little bit and learn how to, like, talk a little bit better about that. But when my life changed and the Lord got involved in my life in 2022, I started learning how to sell again, like a resell, and learn how to sell. And a lot of people, like Christians especially, and this is something I want to break off of Christians. A lot of people think that, like, when you're in sales or you're selling a product or a service, that you're being manipulative to get the business. And I completely disagree with that. I think that, like, it could be furthest thing from the truth for me. I just want to make sure that I'm educating people. And, like, my biggest, I guess, mantra, if you will, right now for sales is I just want to love on somebody. I think that love conquers all, and I think that if I know that they need it, if I know that if they are dire for the solution and they may not have the education for it, then I'm going to love them by educating them. I'm going to love them by convincing them that this is the right thing and right decision to make. And so I think that that's been my biggest sales point now. Now that I'm doing this challenge though, I can honestly say, just as of Monday, I was like, dang, bro, I'm not, you got to punch back a little bit. Like, you got to be a little bit, there's a bit of an assertion, there's a bit of aggression that is needed. And I think the way that I've kind of justified it, if you will, maybe not is the right word, but I've kind of like gone, okay, all right, Lord, I've got to fight a little bit more. And I think it's like through like even like David, and like I think of David and him like fighting battles, you know what I mean? It's like out here in sales. I was talking to my production manager earlier this morning on the way over here. Like, sales is hard, bro. Like, people think that sales is easy. We make it look easy. It is hard. Sales is not an easy thing to do. It's very hard to do. And I think it's even harder when you're trying to maintain just a Christian perspective on it and just like a following God perspective on it. And I think that it's much harder than it is. It's almost like rap music, right? Like, it's much easier to rap about money, sex, and women and this and that, right, than it is to rap about like God, right? It's so much harder to, for some reason, it's just so much harder to rap about. Yeah. So the easier thing is to be like more full of the world. It's harder to be outside of the world and be on a narrow path. And I think in sales, there's a bit of that comes, and I just do my best to just educate. I'm not selling anybody. I'm just enrolling people in. I'm just showing them the things or whatever.
I like that, because you're showing it. You're giving to them with the love. You're protecting their homes. You're keeping the value of their home. You don't know what things could happen. We have customer, just to let you know. That's another way to think about it as a roof. We had a customer, their house flooded, and then we're about to go through insurance claim. It was a $150,000 claim. And then they found out that 15 days before the damage, the insurance company, they sent someone who inspected the roof without even them knowing. And then they sent them a letter, you're no longer having insurance with us. And it got lost in the mail. They went back to the mail and they found it, but they never paid attention to it. And now they don't have insurance, and they have to pay out of pocket for the water damage that doesn't even include, because of the roof, because they have old roof.
Yeah.
So no, seriously. So that's another way like to think about it, is like you by you like selling that to someone like that roof, you're saving them money from, you're protecting their policy, you're protecting their home. Jayden,
real quick. So yes. I had somebody yesterday. This is the funniest thing. It's like about that, right? Exact thing on that. I literally am like, okay, so you want the insurance to pay for your roof or not? You know what I mean? Like, you have the damage for the insurance to pay for this. Like, do you want this to take place? Do you want them to pay for it and then you pay your deductible? Like, what is, and homeowners need to be, I think where the aggression piece is, it's tempting, is when they're like, no. They're like, I don't want to do this because I'm miseducated and I don't have all the knowledge. And the aggressive thing would be to do is like, just like push past that and push to the point where they just start doing it no matter what. I think there's a bit of education. As you educate, give people time and space and patience, trust the Lord, that I've seen it come back. I've actually, I used to believe that if you didn't push, you didn't get a yes or a no right then and there, that it was lost forever. But now I believe more so in that if I push to a certain point on education, it's like, hey, I'm a trustworthy person, and I sell myself, they end up calling me later.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. What were you gonna ask?
No, what do you continue like about this topic?
Yeah.
If you don't have anything, that's fine.
No, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's the same topic, I didn't know if you had another question, but no. Sales, I love sales. I've been doing sales since I've been 14 years old. Literally selling candy bars, selling shoes, flipping Jordans. I mean, all of it. Like, and so
Jordans?
Yeah, like retros.
That's
Yeah. I had a shoe business in high school and all that stuff. Buy, source it from Foot Locker, stay there all night, right? Resell the shoes, all that. But all that to say, I love sales. And so sales, though, like integrity, there's so many different sales processes out there, like so many sales methodology and everything, right? And I've worked for a lot of different sales companies, roofing sales, software sales, insurance, and every different company, like there's a lot of ways to sell. But here's the reality, like integrity. How do you sell with integrity? Right? That's the biggest thing that people probably wonder, right? Because a lot of people, here's the thing, people don't like to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does. Do you like to get
No.
calls and be sold in the middle of your day when you're super busy? No.
No, not at all.
No, you don't. Right? Dude, I decline so many calls on a daily basis, bro. I hardly answer the phone unless I need to, unless it's an inbound lead that I paid for in my sales team. But I will not get in conversations that start taking me down a sales path because it wastes way too much time. So all that to say is, how do you sell with integrity and transparency? Again, a lot of people are used to the used car salesman approach, that they've been haggled and sold. And they go into a place, dude, and when you're buying a car, it's not an easy process. You're sitting there, you finally like it, and the finance team takes forever, and it's 4 hours. And you got to go, oh, okay, let me go chat with my manager. Hey, sorry, car salespeople that you're watching this right now, that are Christians. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, but sign right here. If I can get to this price, are you going to commit today? I don't know, right? But here's the reality. We as humans don't like to be pressured, okay? So we have to understand how human nature works and how psychology works, right? And people work. If you want to be a good business owner, you better learn people skills and you better understand how people operate and different personalities, right? Because business is all about people. I've read so many personal growth books and all of these things, right? How to win friends and influence people, people skill books, all of these things. And all of those were good things. But the biggest difference in how I've been able to sell at a high level in my business and teach other people how to crush it as well is it's this simple, okay? Like literally this simple. Love God, love people. The Bible says, right? Jesus said, there's all these commandments in the Bible, right? What is the greatest commandment? And the greatest commandment is loving God, loving people. That is our heart and our motto of what we do at Pure Equity Investments, right? The first thing is, number one, your heart has to be pure and your heart has to be filled with love. You have to actually care about that person that you're doing business with across the table. Across the table, knocking on the door, right? You got to be delivered from greed. At first, when you're motivated, let's be honest, when you're getting a business, you're motivated by money in some way. I'm going to be honest with you. Still today, I'm motivated by money in a positive way, because you can't be in business and grow companies and not be motivated by money. It's a healthy motivation of money, right? But how do you like really sell with integrity? Number one, your heart has to be right. Okay. Commission breath. Okay. People can feel that I want this deal. Hey, owner, just go through the insurance. Like we can get it taken care of for you, everything. Whoa, chill, right? Commission breath, right? Me selling a house, or like, somebody from California that I'm doing business with over the phone that just bought an asset for $65,000 that's selling to me at $85,000 for me to resell, right? They never met me. Are they really going to sign a legal contract with you over the phone? Yes. How do you do that? Care about them. Okay. There's a thing called discovery, right? And sales processes. And so discovery is you are asking them questions, right? Open-ended questions to get to a certain situation and a problem. Sales is about solving problems. It's not about selling.
All of that.
Okay. Yeah. It's about solving problems. You solve a problem in mold remediation. How much is the quote? Hey, I just want a quote. I just want a price. Well, sir, we don't know until we get out there and assess the situation. We'd love to give you a price over the phone, but we don't even know the situation. That's the same with a house. I get an inbound lead. Well, what's your price? I don't even want you coming out here and sir, like, I would really love to give you a price, but I have no pictures and no understanding to give you, right? And so the main thing is how you sell with integrity is understand their situation, understand why are they looking to sell their property, why are they looking to get a new roof, right? And you go down this funnel process. Okay, well, hey, if you're looking to get a cash offer on market, like, why don't you just go on market with an agent? what that question, lean into that. Why would I ask that question if I'm an agent? Well, I mainly focus on investment side. You lean into the opposite side of what you don't want. Well, why don't you just go with an agent? I don't want to deal with all the showings. I just want a cash offer. I need to move back to Florida. I need this sold. Okay. Do you know what just happened right there? They literally just told you why they need your help. Okay. They literally just told you why they need your problem or why they have a problem and that needs to be, solved. And so with integrity and transparency, here's the other part of it. Yes. Integrity and transparency. You don't just throw numbers out that you can't perform on. Okay. That's why I'm not just a number guy, because, hey, look, and I'm not just here to give quotes and numbers. I'm here to actually solve your situation or problem. So how I would start with that is transparency, right? Integrity in what you do, being honest and upfront through your whole process. When you give people your process of what's going to happen before you go into contract, and this process, insurance is going to come out, this is what's going to happen. You know what you just did? You educated them, and people want to be educated through the whole process and understand and have predictability. So for me, last thing I'll say is this: how do you sell with integrity? Don't try to manipulate and force the deal. Don't just think that you need the next commission deal. Care about the person's situation and lean into, yes, there is moments that you do have to challenge people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
so.
Okay,
yeah.
To touch in on just to backdoor that.
Yeah.
Is I think there's a way to push polite.
Yeah.
Right. It's a way to kind of ask the right question.
Yeah.
Right. To lean into that problem. Like I had a guy just the other day that I had to reschedule a point because we had rain yesterday. But I go into his door and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait for the hurricane." I'm like, to blow your roof off and pour water into your house? Like, I asked him the question. I was like, "Have you ever experienced a hurricane and water coming into your house like that? Have you ever experienced anything like that?" He was like, "Well, no." I was like, "Do you want to experience something like that?" "Well, no." "Well, then why don't you get it paid for by the hail damage that happened a couple weeks ago?" And that question, planning that question, just stuns the person. It was like, whoa. Actually, that logically makes sense. I understand. So asking the right questions can really help kind of like enable that person to think for themselves, to be like, oh, well, this might actually be a good solution for me. Or, I need to work with you because I'm moving to Naples and I need to figure it out now. And it might be a better process. And I think educating all my salespeople are called solution providers. We are problem solvers. Like we go out and solve the problem. And so when people do give us like gun to head moments, which I fire customers. I just gun to head, you're fired. I'm not committed. Like
if you don't do this,
if you're trying to do it a certain way, or you're trying to be a certain aspect, like this goes for all future homeowners. Like I don't deal with that. Like I don't put up with any of that. Like I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm able to do for people, and if they want to put a gun to my head about doing it their way and following their process, I ask them a simple question: how many roofs have you replaced with insurance? Yeah, and they're like, well, none. And I was like, okay, well, I've done a lot, so you want to listen to my advice or no? Like there's a way to be politely pushy. You know what I mean? Like say impolite. No, I think it's still polite. Like it's professional.
Yeah.
I think that we get a mixed taste of sleep till you die. Sleep when you die, hustle culture. And you can't ask polite, challenging questions. I think in sales, to answer the question in its fullness, I think is how do you overcome that mindset of prosperity and pushing and hustle to be like, okay, I can actually still challenge the questions and still sell the person, persuade the individual to think logically and
and that's will take us topic like in same way it's you work the same way with your employees. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that's something been a little bit challenging for me the last few months. The past few months is dealing with employees, because sometimes you want to be nice to them, but man, being nice is not getting the job done. They're seriously. So sometimes you need to push and set up some boundaries. And that will take me to this story. About 2 weeks ago, we have our referral partners, and one company, they always send us leads. But two of their employees, I was talking to them, and one of them is getting married next May, and his best friend is his coworker. I was telling him, oh, so you guys are excited to go to his wedding? It's going to be in Mexico. He's like, man, we asked my boss, and he doesn't want, he didn't allow us to go. You know, they are both plumbers, and he told one, you go to your wedding, your best friend is not going to be in your wedding, you know? And that hit me in my mind. And these two guys, I know they're very loyal to the company. They're very hardworking. Until 2-3 days later, I went to his office. I was like, he's an older guy, very successful company. He's big enough that, you know, he has one of the plumbing suppliers open in his facility just to supply for him, you know, plumbing supplies. So I was like talking to him. I was like, listen, tell me how you end up taking this decision over this years. He's like, man, that was a hard decision. Over the years, I learned that if I have two of my plumbers out of town, and let's say third one gets sick that day, now I have a customers. They're gonna call me, and I'm not gonna be able to provide work for them. Then I'm gonna lose that customer. And this customer, I'm gonna lose the other person he's gonna refer work to. And it got me thinking. And I was like, how would you avoid these conversations? And he's like, just put system in place. Put a rule and apply it on everyone in the company. And let this rule take that decision, you know? Now, as a believers, you know, how would you deal with employees that, because you want to be a good person, you don't want to be a good believer, you want people to taste Jesus in you and see Jesus in you like your employees. But when it's time to let go on someone, or it's time to be tough with someone, that there is a good possibility they're going to take it personal, you know? And that's something like I have no answer. I want to pick up your brain, how you deal with that.
You mind if I touch on it first? Please. And I want to hear your side too. Yeah. It's going to be good. I think the main thing is accountability, right? Coachability, accountability, humility. Number one, I think it starts with bringing the right person on, right? Going through a set of interview questions. That we all went through interviews in our life, but what I've noticed is that's a wisdom, okay? Interviews protect your business, and multiple interviews protect your business as well. Something that we started doing last year, you know, this was like the beginning of the year was the first year officially that I got like our first official office, okay? And because we've been just building remote sales the past few years, right? Building remote teams and all of that. And there's pros and cons to that, right? Something that's lost in remote, if you go fully remote, is culture. You really have to learn how to build a culture through Zoom. Or if you have people locally here, like having outings and things like that relationally. But coming back to it, interview questions, right? Bringing people on, something that I really implemented this year that was very different than last year. And I had invested in the coaching from another person in my industry in wholesale that has the past 6 years has been hitting $4 to $5 million a year consistently every single year on repeat. Mm-hmm. And I saw their whole office, their sales manager, their salespeople, their processes, their systems, their data over their business was absolutely insane. It made me feel like, do I even have a business? Not even playing. Mm-hmm. For every 2 offers they made, they said they got a contract. I said, wait, that's awesome. Are you lying? Like, are you being for real? Because we put out a lot of offers on a daily basis. I'm not going to go back in a sales process, but sales process, I said, how's that possible? Sales process. We don't give an offer until someone's ready for that. We don't give an offer to a seller until they're ready through a set of questions. So when it comes to bringing people on, you know, this program that I invested into, like a few $1,000s, and brought my wife and flew to Columbus, Ohio, they're all about building systems, processes, and onboarding and training and building the right people, right? And so I took what I learned in those 2-3 days of in office, and then obviously like 8 to 10 hours a day learning from them. And I really implemented like a two interview step process. And it completely changed everything. Like completely changed everything. Because when you're a sales focused company, like roofing sales and knocking doors, and even you need salespeople, right? I need salespeople. That's the engine of predictable revenue to even pay anybody's salary. It's a very, very important role in any company.
Might be the most important.
Most important. I mean, that's how marketing's paid. That's how salaries are paid and all these things, right? So you better have a good sales process. You better have a good marketing engine or a form of go-to market strategy to do business. But coming back to it is bringing people on rightly. And so this 2 interview step process, I would interview them first. I would, hey, what's your story? Where are you from? Right? How are you doing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially? I ask every single question like that, and I go deep. I want to know transparently what they're going through, because here's the thing. If somebody's dealing with depression and they're not telling you, well, maybe there's a reason they're coming on your team to get set free. But on the other side of it, I can't be bringing people on that are up and down. They're depressed 2 days and they're out of work. You can't build a predictable business like that. You need to have some formal ground of emotional intelligence. But all that to say, an interview process, and then the second interview, right? I bring my wife, because there's so many times that I'll be running and gunning like a visionary, and I'm very busy, like very fast pace, like this business and everything. And so sometimes I don't always slow down, but I believe the best in people so much. So I'm like, dude, calling on their life prophetically, right? Evangelistic, like they're going to crush it. But then my wife is saying this over here, like, hey, I'm seeing this.
She's picking
right?
up on the things that you don't see.
And bro, I'm not even playing. Time and time again, she said that, and then it happens. She said that, and then it happens. Person, and I'm like, no, like we got to give them. Let's give them a shot, right? And so that's good, but you got to be wise on the other side. So coming back to that is, then second meeting, I let her do the talking and ask questions, and we ask also about coachability, humility. How's your time with God? If you don't have a relationship with God, that's okay. I'm just letting you know we're a Christian company and we pray together every single day. So you're going to get Jesus in the process. But how do you actually, like, coming back to it, hold people accountable and have tough conversations?
Yeah.
This is something that I've learned even when I worked for sales companies. For an example, I used to do software sales, and I had a sales manager. He's a VP of sales. He used to work on Wall Street. So super successful, helped build sales teams, Wall Street, stockbrokers, all these stories he told me, crazy stuff. He had to get out of Wall Street because of everything, like the wickedness that was there and people doing cocaine and all these things. But all that to say is he moved to Texas. He wanted a better life for his family. And he went to a whole different industry and went into software sales as a salesperson. Long story short, he's already done management. He's a VP of sales. But he was coaching me, and something that he implemented that I've implemented into my business is doing one-on-ones with your people on a weekly basis, right? And so the goal of these one-on-ones was not to say, hey, man, what's your performance been like? How many deals did you hit last week? All these things. Although that's a part of the conversation. Hey, how's your relationship with your wife? Mm-hmm. Like, how's relationship? How's your family doing, right? Just normal conversation. And then, yeah, how do you feel like you're doing work-wise, right? You put it on them. You ask them how they feel like they're doing, right? And so the biggest thing that I've learned is don't just have conversations with your people about performance. Start with caring about them, relationship, and then go into that. And so when we're having these tough conversations of things that we're starting to see red flags in our businesses, or they're not on time all the time, or they're not following the process, or this, and it's kind of, to be honest, it's starting to frustrate you.
Yeah,
it does, and it's like a virus. Like
yeah. And I'll say this last thing, yeah, like you got to catch that, and you have to nip those things, because if you don't do that in your culture,
yeah,
what happens is one person's not on time, everybody else is not on time, and we can be spontaneous. Oh, the Lord, but that's great, but being on time is key. Like I've had to work that on for myself, but here's the reality is step into the uncomfortable, say, hey, I've been noticing this pattern, and dude, I love you, I appreciate you, but I want to see you win. Like, I want to see you grow to the next level. You're doing amazing in this company, and I want to see you just grow to the next level. But can I give you some feedback?
Permission is,
you know? And then boom, it makes it so much easier. So what I've always started, because you can blow a relationship up just going off of performance, and you need to do better here, rather than starting with, you're doing great here, but can I share something with you? Right? So that's how I've handled these situations. And I have a situation that I'm dealing with right now with somebody that,
I hope it's not Travis.
no. That, you know, I have a situation I'm dealing with somebody that, like, just negative things are thrown out. And it's kind of this poverty mindset. Kind of like, oh, this.
Sure.
Oh, the lead, right? Okay. The lead channel is not the problem at this point. Inbound leads are getting great. This strategy. So why is everybody else getting deals? So it's not a lead problem. Talk to me what's going on in your life, and how can I help you fix that?
And what I'm learning more and more, even with my relationship with my wife, is when there is an issue, you need to tackle it as soon as possible. You need to talk about it as soon as possible, because it can, like, really, if it's not resolved, it's just gonna get frustration from one person to another, and now you had an issue with 4 or 5 people because of, especially with the people of like management position. If they have 5, 6 people under them, they all frustrated. Now you have a much bigger problem. Josh.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you, bro.
So I've dealt with a lot of this, actually. I'll touch on kind of the back out. I think you touched on a really good point. So if, like, it's all about how you hire. It's all about how you bring people on. I think having a double interviewing process is great. I think also I've come to that conclusion where I'm just trusting people, like, oh yeah, let's do this thing. Bro.
Yeah. You're just like, bro, you can do sales. You're hired.
Go. You know what I mean? Like, I've done that.
Yeah.
Been a part of that. And, I've often found that, if they weren't the right fit for the position and they weren't the right personality, they didn't have the right culture index data, they didn't have the, like, what I'm learning now, what I'm about to start doing is so cool. It's called culture index. And it's like they fill out 2 questions in their, like, extensive survey, and it creates these data points, and you can see how they intrinsically think and their data and, like, what their data says about the position that they're going for. And you can kind of play onto that a little bit. You can ask the right questions and also position it right now. So I just hired another sales leader. So it's like I have a VP of sales, and now I've got a sales guy. I just hired a sales guy, but we did a culture index, and he has like 2 options that he's going to run with, and honestly, either one, the way that they were framed for him, he's going to do fantastic in. But it was all about the framing. If I were to, like, dump so much more responsibility and so much more things, he may not have liked that as much. So we're excited to have him on, and I'm super pumped about just kind of being able to offer people opportunities. But when accountability and humility is a big deal, I think it starts with leadership of self, right? So if I'm leading myself and I'm doing the things that I need to do, and people in my hierarchy, people that are below in management, my brother, my partner, and then my VP of sales, my production manager, my salespeople, my estimator, like, if these people are not, like, leading themselves, then I have a bigger issue. And so one of the biggest things I've learned and how to deal with this, Assam, is false threats can't ever happen. So you either make a threat and follow through with it, or don't make the threat, right? If you're late by 5 minutes, you're going to be excused for the day. Let's use that as an example.
Josh, you're going to be a good father. That's like a key for even with kids.
Yeah.
Like, if you threats, you have to fulfill it. But keep going. I like that.
Because they're only going to do half as good as you are. They're only going to care half.
If you're
as
lucky.
Much. If you're lucky, right? You're only going to care half as much. They're only going to do half as much. It's kind of the rule of the half. Like, they're going to only do half, right? So you have to set that standard high. But if you say, if you don't hit 5 deals this week, you're fired, you better fire that person. Or don't say it that way. Honor your words. Like, if you're going to say, hey, if you don't hit 5 deals this week, you're going to work on Saturday, and then they just gallop and don't work Saturday, you're in trouble. Your culture's in trouble. And I've been there.
because it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable for you to go, actually, why didn't you work Saturday? And then there's a write-up process that I've done. I do, you've got a verbal. I do the grow method. So this is all really good stuff right here. Ready? So I do a verbal warning, and that is consistent of like a one-on-one. Like we're gonna one-on-one. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna love on you. I'm gonna, see where you're at. I'm gonna meet you where you're at. And we're gonna do a verbal. I'm gonna verbally write you up. Basically, I'm gonna verbally warn you. Like if this doesn't improve, then we're gonna have to. The next time that we talk about this, it'll be a write-up, and that's a physical write-up.
Yeah.
And then after that write-up, if I sit with them, that's another one-on-one. If after that they haven't still made the corrections that they need to make, then I'm gonna go, okay, hey, this is gonna, if you don't honor this write-up, it's gonna end up in either a termination or a role change. And the role change saves it for the threat, because you're still terminating, or you can role change based upon like the performance, based upon the different data points that are there with that individual. And I think that those three things are a firm guideline to like let people kind of fire themselves. And I think that's the biggest thing from our hearts as Christian business owners, is like, you got to let people fire themselves. You have to give them every opportunity to. And if you don't, then it's a stewardship problem. But if you give them all the opportunities and they still are like, see you later, I can hold firm to my boundary of, you didn't honor this, you didn't honor this.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, and I care about you. I wanted you to succeed, but you got to go. You can't be here anymore. And I think that following through with that sets a tone for the entire organization, because I've been a part of my own organization and I've been Mr. False Threats, and it is worse. I would rather be uncomfortable and say, hey, 1, 2, 3, you're done, and be uncomfortable in that, than allow just the vibrato and just the whatever, I'm going to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it.
Yeah.
And
that's very good. That's very, very good.
And
I like it.
The grow method. So in each one of those conversations, I'm going to say, hey, what was the goal? And the goal was whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What is the reality? Right? What's the reality? And then like talk about what's realistically happening in the situation. What's the opportunity? What is our opportunity from here to there? What's our opportunity? And ask these questions and put them on a hot seat. And then at the third one is the resolve. It's what will you do? What's the will? What are you willing to do about it? Like if you're short on things, what are you willing to do about it now? I'll work an extra Saturday. Fantastic. Thank you. Right? And then it allows them to participate in their own punishment, right? And their own consequence of failing the whatever thing it is. And it allows that to be a firm 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. And so that's something that I've recently implemented probably in the last 6 months, because I've dealt with turnover. I dealt with salespeople not honoring me very well. I've dealt with production people being terrible. I've dealt with tons of ins and outs of my business. I mean, I probably had 50 employees, and my team is currently like 12 people. Like they've come in and gone. Some of them has been easy. It's been like, we love you. It's an easy transition because they're just transitioning to something else. And sometimes it's like a hostile situation where I'm like, you got to go. You know what I mean? Like I've had people steal from me. I've had different things happen. So there's aspects. I've had salespeople just show up one day and quit. Just like, hey, I'm quitting. And then go work for the contractor down the street. That hurt. As I spent 18 months with the kid, and he bounced at another company because he was going to get paid more. It was just like, oh, my heart broke.
I was going to ask you for this, because you told me the situation when a couple of the sales team, after you trained them, would you rather to hire trained people already ready to come and start, or bring them from the zero and build them up and prepare them for that position?
That's such a tough question. I think there's a combination of both that needs to happen. I think it all starts with standards and culture, like leadership and culture, having a standard of like what we're doing, why we're doing it, having a purpose bigger than them. The purpose is bigger than them making money. Like you're not just joining this company to make money. That's not what we're doing. We're making an impact on the community. We're doing things the right way. We're changing the industry. It's bigger than them. If the purpose is bigger than them, then it's much easier to take somebody from 0 to 100 than from 50 to 100. Now, I'll say the people that are already at 50, if they want to buy into that vision, buy into that purpose, then it's smooth. It's super smooth. But you have to cast vision I'm a visionary, so You have to cast this vision that is way bigger than what they are thinking about. And you got to sell them. It's a sales. It's selling. Like, I have to sell my salespeople on their stretch goals. Like, what is their stretch goal? Now, can you get to 1.2 deals a week? You know what I mean? Like, you're at 1. Can you get to 1.25, right?
Okay.
And can you stretch them? And I think that it's easier to do that with, I'll just say it. I really like C players. I mean, when you talk about C, B, and A, B, C players, A's are, you can't find them. Like, you're only going to meet them in person. You're not going to get them off Indeed or anything like that. B players, you can create and sustain. C players come from Indeed, different areas. They come around. But it's much easier to take a C and turn them into a B than it is to take a B and turn them into an A, in my opinion. I've got people that tell me all the time that you can take Bs and turn them into A's, but they have to be C's first. Like, you have to take them from C to all the way to A.
Right.
And it's like, that's a process. And what hurts the most is when you take them from a C all the way to A, and then they shop the contract that they have with you, and they're like, these people can pay me more, and I bounce, right? And you're like, oh, I just took you from C nothing to A, and now it's like but you have to sow that seed. So it's just like a church a little bit. And we talked about business ministry. So I think when churches lose a congregation or people in their congregation, you have to really sow the seed of that. You have to let it go, like, God bless them, So when people come in the business and then they end up exiting the business, like, hey, sow that seed, God bless you. I wish you the best.
It's hard not to be better and just release them.
Don't go to the javelin. Throwing the javelin is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, and literally as they go, like, you bless them, and then, man, I'm happy for you that you got this deal.
And it's gonna hurt.
It is gonna hurt. Yes.
I want to touch on that. You gotta be safe. Like, you gotta protect yourself. I would say that's the biggest thing. And I've ran into that recently. Like, this year, I've had to part ways with 2 people, right? And so me, as being a very relational person and building a business, dude, I'm a type of person, I'm very consistent, right? Discipline's not really hard for me. Like, I'm just a consistent person. That's just how I've always been, right? And so I like things to go the same way, sometimes with the same people, predictable, right? And you don't really want things to change, but sometimes things have to change. And those tough conversations. So, for an example, I had somebody this year that would say, hey, man, I appreciate you, love you, you've changed my life. I'm so thankful. Like, this dude did one deal last year and came on. We helped him do 4 deals in like 45 days, essentially. That was about $50,000 in revenue, right? And he's like, man, texted me, and we led him to Jesus. I led him to Jesus in the first interview, man.
That's awesome.
And discipled him and all these things. And he's a lot older than me. Dude, I'm talking like 20 years older than me.
Wow.
Right? Hey, man.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay.
28, right? And so, yeah, look young, but I am young, right? But here's the reality is, he's like, man, appreciate you so much, respect you, but on the other side, behind the scenes, after talking with some people, like, oh, look, what are we doing here? This is a process or system or this or that, and starts just getting to this thing like he did it. And I'm like, bro, you went from doing no deals, wanting to wholesale. I taught you how to wholesale and taught you and even helped negotiate and helped you close the deals, even with our systems and processes. And so sometimes people say, hey, man, I love you, appreciate you. But behind the scenes, they're saying different things.
Yeah.
And so how do you deal with that, right? So for me, my heart is clean towards him, okay? But in the moment, I'm like, dude, what the heck, man? Like, why are you doing that, And the other side of it, too, is calling me on a company recorded line. Or not a company recorded line, calling me on a
person
recorded, right, when he just randomly left at 2:00 on one day. Hey, bro, are you good? What happened? Like, we had a great relationship. Nowhere to be found. Gone. Next day, hey, dude, are you good? Like, did somebody just die? I knew he was going through some stuff. Finally gets back with me. let me ask you something. Am I an employee or an independent contractor? Right? Because I brought him on full-time commission. Right? And I'm like, well, you're an independent contractor. Like, yeah, I technically can't tell you. Well, why do I need to tell you what time I leave anyways? So there's this whole kind of going down this process, right? And the reality is, like, this is a real thing, right? It's like, hey, dude, our relationship's open. Like, if you need to go take care of something, go for it, bro. Like, just let me know. Like, keep the line of communication. It affects the culture, even if you are full-time commission and you're saying this or that. But that situation happened, you know, calling me on a recorded line, and this is just honestly righteous anger. I'm like, bro, what's your goal here? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, because he's like, is there a problem I'm recording? I said, you can record all you want, but I'm going to tell you right now, dude, there's no dirt that you can find on me. I have nothing that I've done wrong, and we can have this conversation as recorded as it is. But I know that I'm doing the right thing, and I don't know what your goal is here. So record the conversation. Let's talk. And so in those moments where people will try to come back and accuse, right, or try to come back and say, you say this,
you don't know what they...
bro, because you're hiring people that you don't even know, that you met, and you're like, you can see that they have a good heart. Like, this person has a good heart. And dude, I still cared about the guy and all these things. But would I ever bring him back on my team? Absolutely not. And so how do you deal with those situations? And again, interview process, right? And here's the other thing too, bro. Last thing I'll share is this, is I had a situation with a guy like this that did not want accountability at all. He would not call anybody. This is a sales role. Hey, bro, are you going to call this person? Like, I haven't seen you call anybody. Like, this is a sales business. You got to, like, call people, right? Yeah. Hey, man, hey, you know, just relax. You know, I'm learning. Dude, what are you learning? I've been trained you already for the past 2+ weeks. Like, we got to get on the phone. So again, mention it again. And so long story short, he didn't want any accountability, pushback, right? And in that, you know, and a lie or whatever, in that regard, I had to part ways. But those are the uncomfortable situations that most people say, I don't want to build a business. I don't want to deal with people and manage people. But you know what? I love it. Because the other side of it is when you have the right person and the right team, what a blessing it is, right? But I was getting a little vulnerable there because like people need to know, dude. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and you try the best you can do as a Christian to bless people and provide the right compensation and culture.
100%.
But people will come against you or turn and shift, and you got, like, coming back to it, nip it in the butt. One-on-one, because if you don't, what happens? The Bible says this, a little lie leavens the whole lump. That's the same thing for your business. Because when you're not in the office and you're going and taking care of a client and somebody's frustrated at you or you didn't do proper one-on-ones or management, whatever, then now they're bringing this situation and it's like trying to spread, you know? Yeah. And so then it starts, and understanding this is what I'm learning right now.
Yeah, so we can wrap it up because he has said out. Yeah.
Sorry, brother.
You're good.
I'd say this last thing is like understanding this is a deeper conversation, but spirits that operate in business.
Oh, wow.
100.
Spirits that operate in business and Absalom spirits, okay? And Absalom spirit says, hey, man, appreciate you, Josh, right? You're awesome, dude. But then behind the scenes, it's discrediting your authority, discrediting your processes.
Yeah.
Like discrediting you and lifting up situation. And then what happens if you don't catch on to that is you just build a whole team. And now there's a coalition formed against you, taking, let's just go over here and do that. So if you don't have proper conversation.
I dealt with this. I'll be vulnerable. I dealt with this exact thing. And what's the book that Pastor Randy gave us? The Three Kings? The Tale of Three Kings. I read it. Fantastic read. You should both read it. Easy read. Literally quick. You can read it one day. Tale of Three Kings talks about just that exact same thing, right? How Saul and David, and then David and Absalom, and it's going through these different, and then and it goes in further, like, and it's going the exact same space. And so I've actually dealt with a team, an entire team. One person challenged the authority, and behind it was like, oh, I love working here, this and that, and like went behind and found a better rate somewhere else,
and it just
catapulted the whole thing. And it was like devastating to me last year. It was like the hardest thing I've gone through in business up to date, last April. And honestly, like I have had to sow that and be like, hey, good luck, I love you, God bless you. But I've had to also keep my distance. Like I can't, you can't work here anymore. Like this is.
Oh, that person is done.
The door is closed.
The door is closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an aspect of that is taking place, but also what's crazy is if you don't fully nip it in the butt. Here's what I'm dealing with now. Now I had a salesperson that got poached by the same team. That's what I'm dealing with right now.
Start poaching people that you've poured into.
I trained him for 2 months, and he was pretty good. And now he's gone. Now he's at the other company. So there's some legitimate like legal things that I'm working on to
non-competes, NDA,
But you can't enforce the right to work here in Texas. You can't enforce any kind of work non-compete. I'm publicly saying that, but like there's not really a ton of law lenience on that. But at the end of the day, like there is actually intellectual property that's available. Processes are that's a deal. And torturous interference is a real thing too. So like the torturous interference. Anyway, so I'm not trying to throw a javelin at that, but it's like trying to like, you know what I mean? Like it's really trying to.
You gotta protect that, bro.
You gotta protect that.
And like I'm gonna end it with this. I think as a salespeople, recruiting salespeople, it should be every day, all day. It's not like we recruit for 2 days and then are we gonna wait? No, we're always interviewing people for sales. Josh and Jayden, thank you so much. I enjoyed this podcast. We need to do it again, but different topics and discuss it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon.
And on social media, they can follow your Instagram, right? And Facebook. And
my Instagram just got shut down.
Again?
It's been shut down for the past like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Dude, it's set for whatever community guidelines. You didn't follow it. You cannot do any more submissions. This is permanently disabled, and so I'm fighting through that right now. I don't know if it's the Christian podcast that we did or me just preaching the gospel or what, but it was so interesting because I'm like, dude, I felt in my heart to go all in social media. We just got a new office, record videos and all these things. And anyways, but I'm going to get it back. Yeah. I'm going to get back. I got hope. But yeah, still add me Facebook, Jayden Burk, Instagram. I'll get it back. But it's okay. It's so funny how Instagram, anyways, that's a whole nother thing.
And if you want to follow the story for 100-day sales, you have to follow
it's going to happen,
Josh.
My brother.
You have to follow Josh. You would enjoy it. It's very entertaining. It's very interactive. and it's not just he's doing the 100-day challenge, not just to sell roof. He's doing it. He's working out. He's at the gym. He's eating healthy. He's sharing his even food intake, like every single thing. So it's really
making beats at night.
Really, I didn't know that. All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, follow Joshua Adam Keith on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.